Okay, so welcome back to another video. It's been a hot minute, but guess what? Better late than never, I guess. So today we have an Orange Pi 5 with the 4 gig model with the RK3588s. If you are interested, here are the specs for the RK3588s. If you're familiar with stuff like this at all, the Orange Pi is basically a Raspberry Pi 5, but cranked way up. It's a lot more powerful in pretty much every way. This being a Rock chip, it doesn't necessarily have the same compatibility as a Raspberry Pi that uses a Broadcom chip. So that is kind of a downside with the Orange Pi, is kind of lacking in a software support department. But if you need a lot more power, this is the way to go. Anyways, if you're wondering what operating system I am using with this, I'm using the Ubuntu Rock chip by Joshua on GitHub. If we go here, you can see the version I'm using right here, the 4 gig model. I kind of just wrote it down here. It's kind of pointless. Yeah, so here's the specs. Really nothing exciting. It is a 8-core chip, but they're not exactly fast 8 cores because it is only an ARM chip. And ARM being ARM, they're not really powerful compared to, say, like an Intel or an AMD chip on the desktop side. With all that being said, let's get into a couple of games, shall we? Okay, so before I do get into the gameplay here, I just do want to mention, if you do plan on doing this on any ARM-based system, playing source games, and I mean do, expect a lot of crashes. This took 3 attempts to get it launched and running for more than 30 seconds at a time. It's just a thing that happens sometimes. I don't know why. It's probably totally got nothing to do with Source Engine never really being made to run on ARM officially. So yeah, it's probably got nothing to do with it. I do believe the version of the Source Engine that is being used is a leaked version and was kind of reverse engineered to run on ARM. Could be wrong, but that's my understanding of it. Anyways, here we have Portal 1 running at the great resolution of 1366 by 768, the average laptop from like a decade ago. Anyways, we are running medium details, high texture, low shader, medium shadow, simple reflection, all that kind of fun stuff. Just kind of show this a little bit, and then I'm going to try higher settings, higher resolution, just to demonstrate what happens. So as you can see, when there's 2 portals on a screen like this, you do quite literally half your frames. It's now sitting in the 40s. I look away. That's actually more than halved, but either way, it usually kind of halves your frame rate. Not this, but either way, it still does take a big chunk of performance out when you have both portals on screen. Some levels are more intensive than others, just do know that. Let's see here. I haven't played this game in a while, so whatever. How am I supposed to do this level? I'm just going to play probably 1 level and then kind of switch to Half-Life 2. Let's go ahead and put that in there. Okay. Simple enough. Okay, 1 level done. But level by level, it does vary your frame rate a lot. Some, like you just saw, are sitting in the hundreds. Others are sitting in the 80s with no portals. It's just sitting in the 80s. So that is something definitely to keep in mind. Each level will vary, sometimes drastically. Let's see. Damn, I just saw 200 frames there for a second. As you can see, this level is kind of sitting around the hundreds, and I put the second portal in. It's probably going to absolutely tank. Yeah, into the 40s, down from hundreds. Just for giggles and shits, before I move on to Half-Life 2, let's just turn up the details just to kind of show what happens if you try to play at the higher details. Actually has not changed much. Intriguing. Very intriguing. I know if I up the resolution to native 1080, it's going to completely destroy the frames. Yeah, 20s, 30s. I mean, on the plus side, it looks a hell of a lot better. It kind of is playable, honestly. Some levels may not be playable. I mean, do you consider 22 frames playable? That's kind of up to you. Me, personally, not really. So, yeah. Let's go ahead. Ooh, that's bad. That was bad. 19, 17, oof. That's bad. That is real bad. Let me guess, yep, there's another portal down here. Sorry, cube. I do want to apologize if you can hear my keyboard and or mouse in the background. My mic is really sensitive, not a whole lot I can do about it. So yeah.
As part of a required test protocol, our previous statement suggesting that we would not
love this song. Portal music on top.
Fabrication.
With that being said, Portal is definitely playable on ARM. Just do remember, crashing is a very big possibility and a very big likelihood and almost a guaranteed thing to happen. Resolution 1080p is technically playable. Just do expect a lot of dips into the 20s, coupled with higher settings. Me personally, I'd probably drop everything to medium and low. Just do that, and then drop the resolution to 720p. This is pretty much a guaranteed 30, 40 plus FPS all the time, no matter what happens. If you want to go real crazy, we can really dump the settings and resolution and just see how many frames we can get. I mean, just cause, you know. Alright. Oh boy.
Good job.
Locked 300. Kind of to be expected.
The truth in 3, 2.
Well, not quite locked 300. But if you really want to dump the resolution and you really want to dump the settings, you can get 200 plus all the time. So there is that going for this thing. On the plus side is it is a very high refresh rate experience. Touch in 200, keep it above 140. It looks like it's staying above for the most part. Still, let's try 2 portals. What happens now? Ooh, drops it down to the 50s, 60s. Oh, I saw 40s there for a second. So if you want a plus 60 FPS experience pretty much all the time, here's what you got to do. Dump the resolution, dump the settings, and it's pretty much a guaranteed 60 plus FPS almost all the time, and even up to 300 at times. Not bad. Again, not bad. But I personally wouldn't recommend playing at these low settings because the game doesn't look amazing. Like I said, do kind of medium with the 720p resolution. You'll get good performance with good visuals. So yeah, with that being said, I think we will wrap it up here with Portal and switch to Half-Life 2. Okay, here we have Half-Life 2. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and take a look at the settings we are starting out with. We are starting off at 1366 by 768, running medium model details, high textures, low shaders. I will, play with the settings as we go, just to kind of see what we can get for frame rate. But this is just what I'm starting at. We are sitting in the 20s for the most part, 23. And if I look the other way, it doubles into the 40s,
I didn't see you get on.
So we've officially hit the age. Can it run Half-Life 2? Except instead of saying that about a desktop computer, we are saying this about a ARM-based computer about the size of a credit card.
Well, end of the line.
Times have really changed, haven't they? So in this beginning area, we are getting now up to 30s. I mean, sure, a Pentium 4 system can beat this, but anyways, this is not a Pentium 4 system, so what's that matter? Let's try and get to one of the more intensive areas of at least this beginning area. Come on, take my picture. Take my picture. There's Barney. Okay, Barney. I got you. I got you.
This must be a
Hey,
mistake.
how you doing?
Standard relocation
Pretty
button
good.
just like everybody else.
Get out of here. Okay, fair enough. Now the thing with Half-Life 2, it's kind of a similar story to Portal. Depending on the area, it will drastically affect your frame rate. So this beginning area here may be in the 30s and 40s with relatively decent settings, as we just went over, a decent resolution and okay, settings overall. Other areas will have you in the teens. I was experimenting with this game a lot yesterday and earlier today. I progressed probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours into the game, and some areas were in the turn it down a little bit. We're in the hundreds, like 140. Other areas were struggling to hit 60. It just really is a wide variety of frames you can get in Half-Life 2. I don't know if it's a Half-Life 2 thing because it's running on ARM. I don't know if it's just an ARM thing in general, or it's just because this is a PC game running on essentially a phone chip, So yeah, it is definitely playable. Not the most stable thing in the world. Let's go ahead and save, because this game also does love to crash a lot, like Portal, because it is a Source thing, I believe. I'm trying to get to the next little area that is pretty intensive. I'm just gonna pause it real quick and come back once I get to the area, because it's gonna take a little bit. Okay, so we have arrived in the area I'm talking about. So as you can see here, we are in the 60s, 70s, even touching on 80 here and there. Come on. Alright, in this train station area, we are dropping down into the 30s at some points. But as soon as I open these doors, I will almost get... Oh, it's already starting. Ooh, 15 frames. This is... Ooh, 11. Yeah. This is kind of what I'm talking about. This is probably one of the more intensive areas in the entire game. So, 11 frames... Ooh, I just saw single digits there for a second. Just for shits and giggles, let's see what kind of frame rate we can get in this area if we completely dump everything. Low, low, low. None of that. Okay, that's where I got off. Right? Yes. Alright. Okay. I again do not recommend playing at this resolution and level of detail. But hey, we are staying in the 50s and even touching on 60s in this area. And okay, I mean, it doesn't look amazing, but it also doesn't look horrible for being 540p, in all honesty. Again, I would probably recommend playing something like 720p, maybe medium or high textures. But this game is definitely more intensive than Portal, so it may vary depending on your setup and what you prefer. So if you go back here, is 720p. Yeah, okay, so we're still staying above 30. So you can probably very easily get away playing this game with 720p and pretty much slow everything else, but hey, it's Half-Life 2, again, running on an ARM-based computer. So again, let's play a little bit of this, and then I'll do my little conclusion, I suppose. Okay, 100 plus, not bad. 100 plus. 200s. Okay, well, it's not 300. Ooh boy. Here's where the game might crash, because it tends to like to crash on the loading screens, or just out of nowhere, but usually on loading screens. Okay, no crash. here. Okay, let's try and get to another relatively intensive area real quick.
Got you a cop.
Get hit really quick. Hey, buddy. Get in my way. Close up. See, I think I'm going the right way, right? Yes. No time to lose, you say? Another loading area coming up. So again, it's very possible the game will crash here.
Get in here,
But we'll see.
Keep moving.
Please don't crash. Oh, okay. No crash again. This area coming up here is again kind of intensive. Let's see if I can make it up to that area. First try. Alright, here we are. Maybe not the most intensive area, but it's an area where I've seen a lot of people use for benchmarks on like a Raspberry Pi 5. So yeah, let's just see what happens. This is where we meet Alex Vance. Okay, this is 200.
Dr. Freeman, I presume.
Yes, I am Dr. Freeman.
You better hurry.
I
The
think we will
combine can
hurry
be slow
then.
to wake, but once they're up, you don't want to get in their way.
Okay. Hundreds, not bad. 200s.
Dr. Kleiner's
Just out of curiosity, how does it look at 1080p? A hell of a lot better.
keep becoming this way.
The frame rate
I don't
is
think it
still
occurred to him that you
surprisingly
might not
good.
have a map.
So that's cool, I guess.
I'm Alex Vance.
But again, I would not recommend playing this game at 1080p because
I'm sure you
some areas will definitely tank your frame rate to the 30s or even 20s, like I demonstrated in the first second area, whatever. So I'm probably not going to play a whole lot more just because I don't want this video to run on too long. We're already approaching 15-20 minutes, so yeah, it's probably going to be it for Half-Life. And now let's move on to my conclusion, I guess. So, do I recommend you play Source games on this here Orange Pi 5? Short answer is no. And the main reason is because, well, it tends to crash. To my understanding, the Raspberry Pi 5 does run these games more consistently. It does not crash every so often. But you do have to pay the price of the Pi 5, the Raspberry Pi 5, not being as powerful as the Orange Pi 5. But if you do really want to play, say, Half-Life or Portal, and you just only happen to have an Orange Pi 5, yes, you can technically play those games, but it is a bit of a pain to get them installed and all that because you have to download the Source engine, you have to extract it, you have to install it, you have to get you have to own a legal copy of Half-Life and Portal to do it legally. Obviously, you could go the cracked way, but don't do that. That's illegal. Make sure you own a proper copy of the two games if you want to do that. So yeah, like I said, you can technically play it. Do I recommend it? No. But it is a cool, fun kind of experiment if you have time to kind of screw around with on like the weekend. It is a pretty cool thing to do. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like, subscribe. Please share the video. I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers like really soon, and then 1,000 next. Higher the better. I want to hit 1,000 one day soon. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and that's it for now. See ya.